So this is Baruch Fleischman, and at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, we're lifting ourselves up on this great elevator of Rebbe Nachman, taking this path upwards. Now, what he's talking about is one of the tikkunim that allows the healing of the bones, and he means to say that the lesion that's caused by the sins and the mistakes that we make actually affects our innards, the most inner part of us, not talking about the intestines and the organs, talking about the structural part of a person. Makes a person move different. Everything becomes different about the person. So now he says the only way out of this is to elevate Malchus, which is the world of dinim and punishment, to elevate it to a higher world. This is done by making a yichud with Kuj. That's called the yichud of Kuj Barichud Shchinte. But over here, Rabbi Nachman changed the metaphor, and he caused that this is where there was a pasuk. There was a melech in Yeshurun. A melech refers to Malchus, which the translation is king. Or you could say it's a kingdom in Yeshurun, that it moves up to a higher place. To the place Yeshurun is called Zeranpin, or the upper elements of Zeranpin, or even beyond that, indicating that Malchus had risen to its source. It is written, but the humble, those who are the most low, will inherit the earth. That's the remnant again, the person who has a remnant, he's not anybody. Earth is din is the Malchus, the law of government. That is with what rules and controls us. It is written, earth rises up against him. So we're talking about the elevation of all that. Now, this is the meaning. Now, number 8 here, it says like this. This is the meaning of what the sages said. This is Gemara. Let me see where this is. The sages said, it's in the Talmud, in Sota 21a. Someone who was walking along a path in the utter darkness of night, he was afraid of the thorns and the ditches. He was afraid of wild beasts and bandits, and not knowing which path he was on. When he happened upon a lit torch, he was saved from the thorns and the ditches, but he was still afraid of the wild beasts and bandits. Not knowing which path he was on, when dawn broke, he was saved from wild beasts and bandits, yet still did not know which path he was on. When he came to a crossroads, he was saved from all of them. What is this crossroads? Rebbe said, it's the Talmid Chacham and the day of death. Wow. What a story. Someone's walking along the road and he's afraid of the different things that can happen along the path. He sees light up ahead, but he still doesn't know where he's at. When the daytime finally came, day usually means chesed, he was saved from the wild beasts and bandits, but he still did not know which path he was on when he came to a crossroads. Now, what does this mean? He was saved from all of them. The Rebbe asks, the Rebbe says, what is this crossroad? Rebbe Chisda said, it's the Talmid Chacham and the day of death. It's the Talmid Chacham and the day of death. Our subject has been confession and the Aliyah of Malchus to Bina, or the Aliyah of Malchus. It is known that all evil character traits and their derivatives stem from the 4 Yesodos, the fundamental elements, the 4 humors, also known as the 4 humors, and as brought in the Mishnah Chasidim, melancholy and its derivatives stem from the mineral form. So there's mineral. Evil passions and the derivatives stem from the vegetable form. Idle chatter and its derivatives stem from, let's just flip the page here, the animal life form. Pride and its derivatives stem from the human life form. Anyone who take the path of God must break all of the vices and talk about all his traits. Now, look what he said. You have to break the vices. You have to talk about your character. You have to do this in the presence of the Talmid Chacham, a spoken confession. Now, understand that speaking itself, once again, is the Aliyah of Malchus. If it's on the subject of something kadosh, then that's going to lead it to a yichud with Zeranpin, the yichud of the male and the female forms. The Torah scholar will then define and clarify a path in line with the root of his soul, because each one of us has a different way we want to go. but the God that's within it is one and the same. Now, there are 3 steps in attachment to the tzaddikim. Through these 3 steps, everything is rectified. The 3 steps are as follows. The first step entails seeing the tzaddik. As in the Yeshaya, your eyes will see your teacher. This step negates the vices that stem from the 2 yesodot, mineral and vegetable. Namely, what is mineral is melancholy or depression, with its derivatives, and evil passions, also the vegetable part. For the tzaddik of the generation is called mother, because he nurses the Jewish people with the light of his Torah. And the Torah is called milk, as it's written, honey and milk under your tongue. We have empirical validation for this. Even when a child is sad and lethargic, if he sees his mother, he very quickly stirs towards her, towards his source. We also see clearly that when a child is absorbed in his own nonsense, even though he has a great desire for this, if he sees his mother, he throws away all of his desires and draws close to her. We find then that the vices stemming from the 2 yesodot of mineral and vegetable are negated by gazing at the countenance of the tzaddik. This is, he was afraid of the thorns. Now, let's go over the words. I was going over the words here in that little story. The aspect of the vegetable life form and the ditches. What are the ditches? The aspect of the mineral life form. When he happened upon a lit torch. What's the lit torch? It's a Talmid Chacham. He glows with the light of the Torah. Through him he is saved from the vices that stem from the 2 yesodos, mineral, that is mineral, and vegetable. And then he is saved from the thorns and the ditches. The second step is the charity one gives to a Talmid Chacham, who embodies a number of souls. Because when you give him charity, because you're lifting up a number of souls. Through this, he is saved from the vice that stems from the 2 yesodot of animal and human, the aspects of wild beasts and bandits, which are idle chatter and pride and their derivatives. This is because idle chatter and slanderous gossip engender poverty. It is written, all the men have died. This is poverty. That's the Gemara and the Dharm. Also concerning pride, it is taught poverty is a sign of a haughty spirit. But by giving charity, a person becomes wealthy. As the sages taught, though they were united and likewise many, even so they are over and gone. I have afflicted you, but will afflict you no more. He is never again made to experience the markings of poverty. Now, and this is when dawn broke. He was saved from wild beasts and bandits. The break of dawn is an allusion to charity. As is written, when you see the naked and you clothe them, then your light shall burst forth like the dawn. It's a pasuk. It's a quote. We find then that through charity one is saved from the vices that stem from the 2 yesodot, animal and human, corresponding to wild beasts and bandits. The third step, so those are the 2 steps. For what is the first step? The first step is entails just seeing the tzaddik. The second step is charity. And the third step is one makes a spoken confession in a Torah scholar's presence. So that's the confession. Those are 3 things. Through this seeing the tzaddik, the physically seeing the tzaddik, through this the Talmid Chacham guides him on a proper path in line with the root of his soul. This is when he came to the crossroads. And the sages comment that the Talmid Chacham in the day of death. Now what does that mean? This is the step of spoken confession before a Talmid Chacham. The day of death is an allusion to confession. Why? The sages taught like this. All those about to be put to death confess. So the 2 go together. I don't see that exactly as a direct metaphor, but let's see how it goes. This is called Parshas Derachim, a crossroads. Parshas B'Bracha, because the Torah scholars, mafrish lo derech, they define the path in life with the root of a person's soul. So they show a person how he has to go. Then he was saved from all of it, because before he confessed, even though he was close to the Torah scholar and had given him his money, he still does not know which path he was on, for a path may seem right to a man, but its end leads to death. But when he comes to a crossroads, which is where the Talmid Chacham is, and the day of death, that spoken confession before a Talmid Chacham, then he was saved from all of them. This is Baruch Fleischman, and this is the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, putting some ideas together with Rebbe Nachman of Breslov.